Hello, Programming 12. Hey, look at this. We're playing chess. In our last video, we made ourselves a grid, and I showed you how to draw the board. But we're going to do some new things today. First off, I want to show you how to do that draw board stuff. But instead of using a while loop, I want to convert this to a loop. Two for loops that will make this a little bit tighter, this code. So the way our while loop works is we have our x and our y, which is analogous to rows and columns. X is our columns, y is our rows. And we have a while loop that's counting down the rows. And I guess that we go across the columns. If we get to the end, we kind of manually set ourselves back to the beginning and go down a row. That's all lovely, but there's actually a much more efficient way to do this. This is sort of the guts of our thing here. Wait, is Minecraft? Is Minecraft playing in the background? Okay, whatever. It'll make a nice song. I wonder. Oh, I hope I don't get. No, it should be fine. I think that's not gonna be copyright. Anyway, I guess we'll listen to Minecraft when we do this. So this is like the guts of the loop, the thing we want to be repeating, and all this other stuff can be turned into two lines of code with a for loop. So here's the deal. I'm gonna get rid of this stuff here, and I'm gonna use a for loop. And I'm actually gonna change. Should I change it to row column? Yeah, I'm gonna change x to column. This is gonna be C. Y is row. So I just change all the x's to C for column and row. Okay, so now I can use the for loops. So basically a for loop is like a while loop, but it puts all the guts all on the one line. So I can say for int r equals 0. Notice I used to put that up here, but now I put it inside of the parentheses. Well, r is less than 8, which is what I had before. Basically it was y instead of r, but it's fine. And then r plus plus. Those are all the things that I had previously, but now they're all on one line, which makes this a little bit tighter. So that's going to go from row 0 to 7 and stop at 8. But how do you, that does the rows, how do you do the columns? Well, you could put an inside loop in here. I can put a nested loop. So I can say for columns that start at 0, columns are less than 8, C++, ho ho ho, which is a rich little programming joke. So how does this work? So basically, this will drag you across the columns. So it'll start at column 0. Well, we'll be at row 0, and then we'll do column 0, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then at 8 we'll come back again, and the outer for loop will go to 1, and then we'll go through columns 0 through 7. And then the inner loop will end, we'll go back to the top loop, and the row will go to 2, and then we'll go through all the columns. So that way, we get all of the combinations of rows and columns, all 64 of them, and we're going across the columns first, and then down the rows, sort of, as each row finishes, we'll go down to the next. And that works. That works quite nicely. I'll just make sure it works. Does it work? Yeah, it does. Cool. Also, I've added in some other features. So I'd recommend, before we do those features, you go and do this changeover and look it over and ask any questions in the discussion channel. Because nested for loops are really the way that this is done in most programming environment. I don't know, just like in a job at university. Most people don't bother with the while loop because the for loop is optimized for this. It's so good for this. See how short it is compared to the while loops? It's not necessary. It's absolutely not necessary. While loop will work, but you might as well get used to it. You'll see this in AP Computer Science in the future if you plan on taking that course, and other future programming. Okay, so there you go. There's the nested for loop version of the draw board. Draws those squares. Now, last class I asked you to go and try to make the draw pieces function. So it's basically gonna go through this grid and look for different letters and draw the appropriate piece in their appropriate space. So let's see if that works. I have made, where am I here? I've made a draw pieces function. So I'll just scroll down to that. Draw pieces. Hey, look, it's the same nested for loop. Actually, the exact same nested for loop. Not different in any way. And that's actually how a lot of this programming will go. Once you sort of know what those for loops look like, or the version of the while loop would have worked fine too. It's just a little clunkier. You can just use that to process the entire grid. And what we're doing is, as we go through all the combinations of rows and columns, we're just taking a look in the grid and seeing, do we have a lowercase r? In which case, draw the white rook. If we have, at that row and column, do we have a capital R? Well, then we'll draw the black rook. And then it's just all the combinations of different pieces. Notice that we have to times the row and column by 100. Why is that? Well, because our grid is based on, row 0, row 1, row 2. But when we draw our pieces, we're drawing this piece at 0, 0. This piece is drawn at 0, 100. This piece over here is drawn at wait, this is row 6, so 600. No, that's the y coordinate, 600. The x coordinate is 0, 1, 2, 3, 400, 600, I guess, is where this one's drawn. So, we aren't drawing it at 1, 1. We're not drawing it at 0, 0. Well, these are drawing it at 0, 0. These aren't coordinates. They're sort of row and column numbers. So we have to convert them to get the coordinates. Just like in our tic-tac-toe game, right? It's quite similar in that regard. So there's my draw pieces function, and I hope that's going well for you. And if you did it with a while loop, that's awesome. You can keep it, but I think it's awesome if you want to change it over to a for loop. Might as well start learning the for loops. Useful thing to know. So what are we doing for the rest of this project? Well, I made it move. Once you got it displaying, try to make it move. It's a little bit complicated because you are requiring two different clicks. We're not going to click and drag. We're just going to click once to select a piece, and then click again to choose where to move. So for example, I could click this piece, and I have a little thing where it draws a rectangle in my first click, and then I can move to here. Classic, right? Good opening. There you go. So I'm moving. But notice that I'm not at all trying to enforce the rules. Watch this. Ready for this? Bloop. Boom. Checkmate. What? Or am I checkmated? I don't know what the story is there. But the rules are not being enforced. Like I'm not even enforcing turn order right now. I'm just like, full destroy mode here. And that's fine. Like in computer science, you don't solve every problem at once. You solve one problem at a time. Preferably, you sort of break up a larger problem into the smaller problems first, and then choose which ones. I'm sort of doing that for you by, structuring the assignments this way. But please don't try to solve that problem right now. We're not going to. And if you think about it, do we really even need to solve it? People for thousands of years have played chess on a wooden board that did not enforce the rules. It was up to the players to enforce the rules. So I don't know if it's actually important for this assignment. But, I'll leave you. Maybe that could be an extension activity. But anyways, that's what we're going to do. So just to get you set up for that, that's going to be all about the mouse released function. And then here's some of the setup that I have. So first of all, I have a Boolean first click variable that keeps track of, is this my first click? In other words, am I selecting a piece? If it is, it's set to true. But as soon as I make that first click, I set it to false. Because then my second click is actually different. My second click is me sending the piece that I clicked on first to the square I clicked on second. Oh, tricky. Also, I'm keeping track of the row and column that I clicked on first and the row and column that I clicked on second. And to get those numbers, it's very much like the tic-tac-toe assignment. You just got to divide your mouse and mouse x and y coordinates by 100, or whatever your grid size is if you're not using an 800 by 800 screen, whatever that is, and get your row and column information from that. So there you go. That's the idea. It's all going to go inside of your mouse released function, I guess. Is probably where I'd put it. And we'll see what you guys make of that. So good luck working on that. I hope that goes smoothly for you and you have a good time doing it. Last but not least, I guess, it's not 100% required, but putting in a little square. So as soon as first click turns false, I draw the square at the coordinates of row 1, column 1, wherever it was I clicked on. Just kind of reminds me of Oh yeah, I clicked on that piece. It's not required by any means, but it's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. Check this out. Whoa, pawn's going crazy. Whoa, this chest is messed up. Oh my gosh. Anyways, thanks everybody. I hope you're enjoying this assignment, and we will see ya soon. Bye.